March and April every year is that special time of the calendar where Wrestling Christmas comes to pass. That's right, it's Mania week this week, ladies and gentlemen, and there is a lot going on. So much so, it can sometimes be overwhelming, particularly for casual fans who jump in and out of wrestling at these massive events. In light of that, and to make sure everyone feels involved, I'm Sam from R-CADE Glasgow, and here's everything you need to know before WrestleMania 37. In this video, we aren't going to cover the litany of other events going on this week, the weekly television for MLW, Impact, Ring of Honor, Devotion Championship Wrestling, and AEW, and many others. We are solely talking about the main show cards for WrestleMania 37, Night 1 and Night 2, which is April 10th and 11th, or the wee hours of April 11th and 12th, if like me, you're based in the UK. Before we jump into those two nights of events, we have a little bonus WrestleMania thing to talk about. As far as I'm aware at time of recording, there is no pre-show for WrestleMania 37. There is, however, a special pre-Mania SmackDown. On this SmackDown, we will have an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale featuring 22 different superstars who don't have an opportunity to get onto the Mania card. And we will also have a Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which will feature the current champions, the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, the Street Profits, the Mysterios, Rey and son Dominic, and also Alpha Academy. Outside of that though, we have 12 confirmed matches for WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday.
At time of recording, past Sam. Always remember the phrase at time of recording. Since I recorded that whole slew and everything you're about to see, 2 extra matches have been announced for WrestleMania weekend. The first is going to be on Saturday night, and it is going to be a 4-way women's tag match, the winner of which will become the #1 contender for the women's tag team titles and challenge for them next night on the Sunday of WrestleMania. The current champions, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, will be there on the Sunday night. Challenging them will be one of 4 potential teams. Let's see if Sam can guess the team makeups correctly. Natalya teaming with Tamina. Lana teaming with Naomi. The Riot Squad of Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. That's 3. And following a quick Google that I absolutely just had to do, the 4th team is Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, which shows how featured the women's tag team titles are. That's fine. Moving on to the rest of the show. Enjoy. The WWE Raw Tag Team Championships, The New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos.
First up, the Raw Tag Team titles currently held by Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. They have been challenged by AJ Styles and his bodyguard Omos, the 7-foot giant, for a match at Mania weekend. This is for the Raw Tag Team titles, as I mentioned, and it is the only belt in WWE that AJ Styles hasn't won. Storyline for this one, AJ wants to become a Grand Slam champion, and Omos has yet to have a debut matchup. Both these things will come to a head at WrestleMania. The Miz versus Bad Bunny. That's right, Puerto Rican musical star Bad Bunny has taken to WWE, and much like crossover sensation Ronda Rousey before him, he makes his debut on the grandest stage of them all. At Royal Rumble 2021, Bad Bunny made his WWE debut, performing his single Booker T, which was named after the WCW and WWE legend. Backstage, The Miz offered him an opportunity to be a trainee and develop his skills in order to become a WWE superstar. Bad Bunny rejected this invitation, and later in the night, The Miz destroyed Bad Bunny's DJ equipment, which was ringside for the Royal Rumble event. An enraged Bad Bunny made his way down to ringside, distracting The Miz and allowing Damian Priest to get the elimination. The next night, on an episode of Miz TV, The Miz apologised to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny accepted the apology, but did not rescind his comments. He still wanted to be a WWE superstar, he just was going to do it without The Miz. After weeks of The Miz and John Morrison taunting Bad Bunny from afar, he returned on March 23rd's episode of Raw, attacked The Miz, and accepted his invitation for a one-on-one match at Mania. Omos isn't the only one debuting at the Showcase of the Immortals.
Another update to the card that was not published at time of recording. Sorry, a lot of updates to this. I need to get better at editing fast so that this doesn't happen again. The celebrity match featuring Bad Bunny versus The Miz has now been turned into a tag team contest, which most people speculated it would do, but it wasn't confirmed when I recorded the video. Now, it'll be The Miz and tag team partner John Morrison taking on Bad Bunny and his new best friend, Damian Priest, who will be making a big splash at his first ever WrestleMania. Back to the show.
Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Braun Strowman was left out of the 2021 Elimination Chamber match. Enraged, he attacked WWE official Adam Pearce, resulting in an elongated suspension. Shane McMahon tried to smooth things over with the Monster Among Men, only for that to be rebuked, and in return, Shane would start mocking the intelligence of Braun Strowman. Shane would eventually attack Roman Reigns using a crutch he used to fake a knee injury. Strowman would challenge Shane to a match at Mania, which was accepted, and a week later Strowman would announce it is going to be a steel cage. While we have seen Hell in a Cell matches even featuring Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, this is the first time that a steel cage match has taken place at WWE WrestleMania since WrestleMania 2, a whole 35 years ago. The Fiend versus Randy Orton. The Fiend attacked Randy Orton during Alexa Bliss' talk show, A Moment of Bliss, the night after Orton had won the WWE Universal title from Drew McIntyre. Orton would goad the Fiend's alter ego Bray Wyatt into a game of hide-and-seek on a later episode of Raw, trapping him in a wooden box and lighting it on fire. The Fiend would instead emerge from the box, and he and Orton would face one another in a Firefly Funhouse Inferno match later that month at TLC. Following an Orton win, he doused the Fiend in petrol oil and lit him on fire, causing the monster to disappear from WWE television for several months. In the interim, the Fiend's ally Alexa Bliss would taunt Orton and cause him to lose several matches, leading to an intergender singles match at Fastlane. In the climax of the match, the Fiend would tear his way through the ring canvas and appear to attack Orton, giving Bliss the win. The two will now face each other at WrestleMania 37. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Following a number of setbacks in his WWE career, Sami Zayn believes the Office is out to get him. And now conspiracy theorist nut, he's got camera crew following him 24/7 and insists that there's something going on behind the scenes. Longtime friend and rival Kevin Owens doesn't seem to believe him, however, and Zayn becomes upset. During a match of SmackDown, Zayn would attack Kevin Owens, who was ringside on commentary, and now the two are set to make battle at WrestleMania 37.
A little bit of an update as I sit here in the editing cave. As of Friday Night SmackDown, the week before WrestleMania week, it appears as though YouTube starlet Logan Paul may also be at Mania for this match. He was Sami's special guest for the airing of his documentary all about the conspiracy against him.
Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins would return from injury on an episode of SmackDown and hold court with the entirety of the SmackDown locker room. After they all deserted him, Rollins would attack Cesaro while his back was turned, and over the following weeks label him as a disappointment, given what his WWE career could have been and what it's turned out to be. Cesaro instead would defeat Rollins in a number of single and tag matches, eventually leading Rollins to challenge him one last time at WrestleMania. Cesaro would accept, and then swing him around and around and around again. Rollins doesn't like that. It's going to be funny at Mania. Matt Riddle versus Sheamus. This one's for the WWE United States Championship, currently held by Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle annoyed Sheamus backstage during an interview segment, and the veteran superstar was angered by this, attacking Riddle and breaking his scooter. On a following episode of Raw, Matt Riddle would attempt to get revenge in a one-on-one matchup, which was ultimately won by the Celtic Warrior. Sheamus now challenges Riddle, having got a visible pinfall victory over the champion, to a title match at WrestleMania. Big E versus Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews unsuccessfully challenged several times for Big E's Intercontinental Championship belt, to the point that a change of personality and attitude was needed. Apollo Crews rebuilt connections to his Nigerian royal ancestry. Now, with a different perspective on his time in WWE, he has a vicious side, attacking competitors post-loss, including injuring Big E himself. Upon returning from said injury, Big E seems to have had a change of attitude as well, much more serious, much more dialed in, and WWE management has decided that WrestleMania is the only place that this feud can end, once again for the Intercontinental Championship. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was the successful entrant into the WWE Women's Royal Rumble 2021. Upon coming out victorious, she had the option to challenge any of the three brands' women's champions. After mulling it over for a while, it seemed as though Sasha Banks was her target, particularly after Sasha said, "You can't be the best if you aren't the champion." This was making a mockery of Bianca Belair's EST catchphrase, as she is the best at everything she does. Or the estest. The ests. Like, fittest. Strongest. Winningest. But not the belt est. But not the championship est. Because Sasha's still the champion. Which is kind of the crux of the whole thing. The two will now do battle at WrestleMania, following several failed attempts to win the WWE Women's Tag titles as a pair. Sasha's distracted nature during the two matches resulted in losses, and perhaps she is no longer the championship est that we thought she was. It could be Bianca Belair's time. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Following vignettes that declared her arrival to the Red Brand sometime this year, Rhea Ripley came out post-Asuka win and challenged the Raw Women's Champion to a match at WrestleMania. That's it. That's the story. The whole thing. Yep. Cool. Match is gonna bang though. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. Following his victory at the Elimination Chamber 2021, Universal Champion Drew McIntyre was attacked by Bobby Lashley and left in the ring. The Miz would cash in his Money in the Bank contract, a result of an agreement made between The Miz and Bobby Lashley's represented MVP earlier in the night, in exchange for Lashley getting a match for the title in the coming weeks. 2 weeks later on Raw, during a Lumberjack match, Bobby Lashley would defeat The Miz for the Universal Championship 17 years after he first debuted with WWE. McIntyre believes that Lashley did not deserve the title win as much as he did. Lashley had to defeat The Miz on Raw. Drew beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania last year. Drew defeated Bobby's fellow Hurt Business stablemate Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin in a 2-on-1 handicap match, meaning the two are now banned from ringside at WrestleMania. Regardless, given recent events, it might be that the Hurt Business is no more. Now it'll be Lashley versus McIntyre at Mania, a rematch from their Impact Wrestling Slammiversary title match in 2016. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Edge won the men's 2021 Royal Rumble match and suggested he might challenge one of any of the world champions. However, following a Roman Reigns demand that Edge choose him as his Mania opponent, Edge would quickly make himself known as a threat to Roman's head of the table moniker. Following his win in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, Daniel Bryan was quickly dealt with by the head of the table Roman Reigns in order to complete the necessity of defending the title at the pay-per-view. Not long after though, Edge would set his sights on the belt, spearing Roman right out of his boots as he celebrated the win. Daniel Bryan, upset that his most recent challenge for the gold to being right after an Elimination Chamber match, challenged Roman to a rematch at Fastlane. During the match, Edge was the special guest enforcer and ended the contest in a DQ following an attack with a chair on both competitors. WWE has made the decision to make this a triple threat for the title at WrestleMania Night 2. Bryan wants to headline the Showcase of the Mortals one last time, Edge wants to regain the title he had to vacate 10 years ago due to injury, and Roman Reigns wants to maintain his place at the head of the table. Not just for the Samoan Dynasty, but for all of WWE. That's a rundown of everything you need to know about WrestleMania 37 from us here at R-CADE, but which match are you most excited for? Is it something on the main card? Is it something on the SmackDown 4? Or is it something from one of the countless other wrestling events happening that week? You can let us know on Twitter at R-CADE Glasgow, on Instagram at R-CADE Glasgow, or via our Facebook page, R-CADE Glasgow. You can also let us know in the comments down below, leave a like and send this video to an equally confused casual wrestling fan, or you can catch the R-CADE crew on Twitch at twitch.tv/R-CADE Glasgow. If you like the work that we do, both in person and online with this content creation, make sure to check us out at patreon.com/R-CADE Glasgow. By going to our Patreon account, you can support the work that we do, and if you're a super member, you get bonuses every month sent directly to you from the good folks at R-CADE Glasgow. I've been Sam, this has been what you need to know for WrestleMania 37. Have a great week, enjoy wrestling. I command it.